Back to the vocals. One other thing that we really liked about the melody, I was talking a little bit before about how the production can mirror the topic, but it's always really nice when the melody matches the topic. Lolo and I believe there is a term out there for it, but we don't know it, so we've just been calling them music onomatopoeias. And we really like how the low over here is just dipping down, so you feel the note going lower, and she's saying low. When the word is sort of matching what the melody is doing, it feels maybe subconsciously pretty exciting. It's maybe one of those things you wouldn't be able to put your finger on at first, but on second listen, you're like, oh, the melody's dipping low, we're actually singing low. Like, there's something very holistic about the vocal. When you start to make these connections, it feels like you're building like a little world in the song. And then in addition to the lead vocal here,
high, highs, the low, low.
There's also this lower vocal.
High, highs, the low, lows.
Again, at the time, that was done using iZotope vocal synth, and you just lower the formant down a little bit. I mean, that's just the common strategy to take the lead vocal and change the formant to help it beef up the actual lead. But just looking at it after the fact, I like that there's a high vocal and a low vocal. There isn't too much doubling throughout the song. It is kind of naked in a way. There's just this
high, highs, the low, low.
There's this that singular vocal there for the chorus. There's the low one under it.
High, high.
But there's actually nothing pan left or right. I would maybe normally think to do that, but there was something that just felt nice about the simplicity, just having that one lonely kind of vocal with these weird little clips of vocals kind of sputtering around it. So it was definitely a choice to keep that lead super simple. The same goes for the verse.
Can't say I've been doing okay, I've been doing okay. And I can't wait to really get paid, not just minimum wage. Yeah, they gold on my hoops, real rips in my pants. They think it's all Gucci, but it's 99 cents, I swear. Yeah, I swear. Who you wanna?
So over here, there's a lot of vocal flourishes. For Lolo, one of her favorite things about a song is the ear candy and the different runs. So there's a lot of those scattered throughout. They just help to break up the flow, little ad-libs. So to look at some of the ad-libs, we've got this one over here.
Wait to really get.
Some over here.
Think it's all Gucci, but it's 99 cents, I swear.
And then a lot towards the end.
Yeah, I swear. Who you want?
Some of those were created by using Ableton Transpose, like this one. To kind of break up the flow of verse 1, we have some ahs in the background. And that just sort of adds a bit to the hypnotic effect, breaks up that lonely vocal.
Wait, yeah, they gold on my hoops, real rips in my pants. They think it's all Gucci, but it's 99 cents, I swear. Yeah.
So that's a lot of what's going on in verse 1. Again, like a lot of the little flourishes here are just sort of instinctively put there or very quickly. And it's, you know, it's good to just kind of think really fast or not think at all and just see what happens. Here comes the pre.
Who you wanna help me? Who you wanna fly me out to LA? Dreams you wanna sell me. I took a bite, that's a go play, a go play.
So structurally, we just have a like an 8-bar verse and then a 4-bar pre. Lolo and I always feel it's really important to have a line that like really bites at the end before you launch into the chorus.
Tell me, I took a bite, that's a go play, a go play. High.
So in the song, you know, she's talking a lot about, like I was saying before, the trials and tribulations of being in the music industry. You know, one minute you're flown out to LA by people who are excited about you. The next minute, you know, you could be back in New York and just not really hear anything after that trip to LA to do a bunch of writing sessions. That's a very common story. It's happened to almost everyone I know. You know, like You could, 1 minute when you think everything is taking off, that might actually not be the case, and the thing that you least expect to be something that could really kickstart you could be the thing. So let's listen to the verse one more time.
Say I've been doing okay, I've been doing okay. And I can't wait to really get paid, not just minimum wage. Yeah, they gold on my hoops, real rips in my pants. They think it's all Gucci, but it's 99 cents, I swear. Yeah, I swear. Who you wanna help me?
Listening back to the lyrics, it really brings me back to that place when we were in the basement of Kid Super. A lot of times, in a song you hear people flexing and just saying crazy sort of made up things that they don't have, which can be fun and cool. But in this, Lolo is talking about a lot of the things that she doesn't. At the time when we were writing the song, she was working as a waitress. She was wearing hoop earrings that were fake gold. She did have on pants that were ripped, that she had thrifted, and her friend had put some, like, a patch detail on it, and they look super high end, but they're actually thrifted jeans. And she's a master at going thrifting. She is so true to herself as an artist, and whatever is put down into words, it's always her real life. I think the best work comes out of things that you know. For this verse one, Lolo is really talking about her life, what it's like, not having things, the feeling of going from high to low. And it's all super true to her life experience. And she talks about this a lot in her interviews online. You can look it up, and she goes more into detail about what was going on in her life at this exact time. To me, it's just a lesson that if you really believe the words you are saying and they are really true to your life, I think the listener is always very smart, knows when something is coming from a real place. So for this song to resonate with people the way that it has, they felt the struggle that she was going through. They felt what she was saying. Like, you can hear it in the way she's singing it. You know that what she's singing isn't made up. Just getting paid minimum wage is something that people have experienced, or that many experience, and there's no fake flexing. It's all super real. In the writing process, I always think the best results come from what's happening in your life, what is true to you. Do you feel it yourself? And if it's something that you connect with, chances are other people will connect with it too. In general, when you get to chorus 2, it's always nice to put in 1 or 2 little flourishes that lets you know you're not hearing a loop, even though it may be a loop. Just something to kind of break up the flow. Like, some people might be waiting for chorus 2 to hear a certain little something. So for that and here, it's 2 things. There's another synth over here. And this synth was created similar to the first synth, where there's just like one sound. And pitching it to make chords, it sounds like it's falling apart. It just sounds degraded. It sounds like an iPhone recording. Actually kind of sounds like an accordion a little bit, but I wasn't thinking about that. So on here, there's just a couple of plugins. I'll take them off so you can hear, so you can compare. And so the plugins that are on here are the UAD Ampex on the Warmth preset, and then the Studer A800 that's on the Vintage preset. Around this time, I was still getting to know the UAD plugins. So I still have like all the hum and the hiss turned on. I didn't really quite know how to use them that great. Maybe like now I kind of almost always turn off the hum and the hiss, but seeing the noise turned on for this synth to me makes a lot of sense, and I'm happy I didn't turn it off because it just adds a little more fuzz and buzz to it. And when you blend this synth with the first synth,